Okay, so hey, hello, hi. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. Anyway, um, hang on. Let me. I flipped my phone over. It was distracting me. Anyway, so what I wanted to do today was just do like a fun little unscripted bonus video, where I go over. I'm messing with this girl. Where I go over a a old story that I wrote in like middle school. I want to say I was 12 or 13 when I wrote this. Either 12, 13, or 14. So, how do I describe this? This is gonna be like a little bonus thing for Patreon, because I want, I want to, obviously start posting on there, and also have videos in advance, because I know I'm gonna be working a lot, because I don't really have a lot of videos in advance. I think I have one, maybe two that I either I created and I just didn't post them, or they were just unrelated to the channel and I didn't post them. But but it's a bonus video. Um, I'm gonna go to the document. So this story is, I'm just gonna get into it. The story is called Animal. I created this character in middle school. Uh, it's he's based off of like Wolverine. He's a mismatch between Wolverine and Beast Boy. The story is terrible, which is why, which is why I'm, doing this audio, because I just wanted to make fun of my past self. It's it's four chapters in an epilogue. I'm looking at it right now. It's not long. I don't even think it's really that good. Uh, this character was he. Hmm, he holds a special place in my heart, because this is the first story that I ever like sat down and written out. It's the pacing is bad, everything is dumb. I mean, I haven't read this in like years, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just cringe at myself. But after this particular one, a few years after I wrote this, I went off and I wrote more stories that are like way better and they're more fleshed out. Like me and my friend, we created this entire world um, full of like superheroes and metahumans and aliens and stuff like that. If you're following my hero series on YouTube, Cesar is a part of that world, and this story is a a a proto story of what um my more recent stories are. So we're gonna get into it. It's, oh my god. Did I even, oh my god. Hold on. This is terrible. I have chapters on here, but these aren't chapters. The first chapter is like a paragraph. Let me see. The second one is 2. The third one is 3. 1, 2, 3. The third one is 4, and there's an epilogue. I don't even think this is gonna be a long enough audio. This is so short. Or anyway, I'll read it. I don't even know how this is gonna turn out, but let's laugh at my. Oh, it says it right here. Last edited was on August 21st, 2016. So I was 17. I was 17 then. But okay, yeah. So what I did was I wrote this when I was about 14. And then when I started to get serious about my writing, I was like, well, I'm gonna need a place to, archive my stuff. So I just put it in a Google Doc just to save it there. So let's get into this terrible story. Also, there's I'll explain. Okay. Chapter 1. The beginning. Ever since Kyle Mitchell was born, he was special. He was the youngest of 3. It was him, his 2 sisters, Riley and Asia, and his mother, Jackie. His his father didn't die, they just got a divorce. But his mother did pass. But that's when he was 11. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get the Let's get to the part where he finds out about his powers. Kyle was 10 years old. That's basically like the standard. When I used to write my old stories, the hero or the main character would like discover something about themselves either when they were 10 or 11 years old, because I based the child version of the character on Ben 10. So like Ben discovered the amateurs at 10 years old, all these old stories that I wrote, all the main characters discovered some newfound power within themselves at the age of 10. He was outside sitting on his porch. He was feeding a squirrel. Pretty sure that squirrel is spelled wrong. I don't. No, it's not. No, it's not. I just can't read. When he heard the squirrel say, "Thanks, human," Kyle screamed and ran into his house and told his family about what happened, but they didn't listen. Oh my god. I remember, because before I put this in a Google Doc, I still have it actually. I have like a little journal that I write this stuff in, and I remember I'm cringing at the memory. I remember giving it to my sister so she could read it, and she gave it back to me, and she was like, "That's really good. That is so good." But like looking back on it, she probably thought it was shit. Like it's so rushed and unfinished and a lot of things unexplained. But let's continue. Kyle screamed and ran into his house and told his family about what happened, but they didn't listen. He went back outside and stared at the squirrel for minutes. Then he noticed that himself was a squirrel. He had turned into the little mammal and screamed again. His family ran outside, and his mother told him that she hoped that the genes didn't pass on to him like his sisters, but no such luck. So he got powers, but his sisters didn't. I don't know why. She explained to him that she explained to him what he was, and told her children the story of his father's side. Their father was an omnisapient. That's actually a thing that one of the things that carried on to my more recent like work that I have yet to post. I think I posted it. Some of these stories I posted it on like various like amino communities. All of them are just like in the notes section on my phone, and I should like really move them to my Google Docs before something happens to them, because I really like the recent stories. I really care about them, and I don't want anything to happen to those. But yeah, you can probably find the new animal story, the more updated one that I wrote when I was 18 or 17 or 18. That one I believe is on Wattpad. It's called. I'm really proud of it. It's called shit, like Animal Forgotten Son, or I think something. I'll have to hang on. Let me check. It might. I don't have the Wattpad app. I'm not checking that. I'm just checking my phone. Let's see. Yeah, Animal Forgotten Son. It's 34 chapters. I usually just write short stories. But yeah, I'm really proud of that one. It's better than this one. One sentence from that story is better than an entire chapter in this one. Omnisapiens are a alien species that resemble humans, but they can turn into animals. My mic is acting up. So, their planet Terra Jur, that I also changed that. I don't even know how I got that. I think I just looked up. I think I just put something in like Google Translate, like the Latin. I translated something in Latin. Far in another galaxy was destroyed. Kyle and his father, wherever he was, were the last two Omnisapiens alive, or so they thought. And that's the end of that chapter. But the thing that I changed about the Omnisapiens, and I'm not even sure if they're called that anymore, but the whole, I think I changed the turning into animals thing into like a adaptation thing, because I just felt like that's more alien than just being able to completely change your biology. I felt like adapting to an environment was a lot more believable, quote unquote. I mean, this is a story about a superhero. What's supposed to be believable? The Fair, Chapter 2. This is I feel like this is the stupidest one. Because I remember writing this one and just getting stuck. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do whatever. Now at age 14, Kyle was still trying to master his powers. His favorite forms were a wolf and a lion. But sometimes when he tried to turn into a wolf, he turned into a badger. And when he tried to turn into a lion, he turned into a beaver. This year at school, there was a fair. He went with his friend, Jerome, and they saw Kyle's crush, China. This is so stupid. Jerome dared Kyle to finally tell her how he felt. But when he was going to walk up to her, people started screaming and running. Kyle looked up and seen something. Don't you mean saw? I mean that's what it says. And seen something he thought he'd never see before. An elephant was running around the school grounds and was walking towards China, and Kyle started running towards the giant animal. He heard Jerome yell, "Dude, you're running the wrong way!" China, that I grammar mistake. I didn't put a quotation at the end of that. China was in shock and couldn't move as the elephant was about to step on her. And Kyle used his enhanced speed to run faster and said to himself, "Okay, okay, you got this. Just think gorilla." He felt his body start to change, and he was a gorilla. He grabbed China out of the way, and she just looked at him as he turned back to human. "I can't believe that worked," Kyle said with a smile. He looked up and the dinosaur was... What the hell? First it was an elephant, but now it's a dinosaur. Anyway, he grabbed China out of the way and she just looked at him as he turned back to human. Did I mess up? Yeah, I read that again. I can't, yeah, okay. He scratched his head and said, "Weird." He looked at, that's all you gotta say. He looked at China and asked if she was okay. She nodded and stared at him. Kyle didn't know what to say except, "Well, okay, bye." And he ran off to find Jerome. The next day, Kyle saw China. He turned around but heard her say, "Hey, Kyle, right?" Kyle stopped in his tracks and said, "I'm using a lot of... I, I'm, I'm barely using like he and she." Uh, yeah, as he turned around. "I just wanted to thank you for yesterday. You're a hero," she said. He wanted to smile, but hid it and said, "Yeah, no problem, but I'm not a hero." He felt awkward. She was his crush, and had seen him use his powers. And if she'd seen them, others could have too. Then China asked, "How'd you do the gorilla thing?" "My stepfather told me stories of these people who could turn into animals. I grew out of it, but now when I think of it, are you one?" Carl, Carl, Kyle's heart started to beat fast, and he felt like his life was over. Hoping this was a dream, he grabbed her hand and walked down the hall to the janitor's closet. Whew, that was a lot. I need to take a breath. He turned his fingernail to a claw, picked the lock, turned the light on, and closed the door. He looked at her with a serious look. "Who else knows?" he asked. "No one, I promise," China said. He sighed in relief, then asked, "How did your father know then?" She looked at him and said, "Stepfather. And I don't know. I never liked him, especially his name." Bardock. Obviously, the father of Goku. But, yeah, we'll just move on. Kyle chuckled a little. "Bardock? Really?" They both laughed. "We should get out of here," China said. They exited the janitor's closet, but before they went off to the class, Kyle asked, "I'm not sure if I want to go with the freak. I'm not sure if you want to go with the freak, but Do maybe want to go out sometime? To the China bus. It said, sure, I love a break from the weirdness. Oh, and I don't think you're a freak. They smiled at each other and went to their classes. And we're already on chapter 3. The plan. On a warm afternoon, Kyle's father, Derek, was walking to his son's house after not being there for years. Then an older boy, about 23, jumped in front of him. He said, "Hello, Derek." Derek's eyes widened. "Lloyd? I thought you were dead." Lloyd took out his claws and said, "Well, I'm not. Now let's have a chat. Like, why Kyle is your favorite son?" "I never said I had a favorite son," Derek said, trying to back away. Lloyd walked towards him slowly and said, "Whatever. When you thought I was dead, you didn't miss me. But let's see how much I miss you." He turned into He turned into a rhino and charged at his father. Kyle was with China at the park, and he got a tongue-tied. He got a call from his sister telling him that their father was in the hospital, as if she'd know. Like, dude, he's been gone for years, and he's in the hospital. You haven't heard of dude in years. How would you know? And I guess she'd call. Why am I bringing logic in a stupid story that I wrote when I was like 14? At the hospital, Kyle walked in the room while China sat in the waiting room. "Do you know who I am?" Derek asked. Kyle looked at him and said, "You're my dad. I don't remember much, but you were there the first 5 years of my life, and you just disappeared." "Listen to me, son. Listen to me, son," Derek said. "You have a brother named Lloyd. He's planning something with a man named Bardock. I know you can stop them." Kyle didn't feel sad, mad. He didn't feel anything. He just nodded. He hugged his father even though you barely know the man. And Derek apologized for never being there for him, or his daughters and his wife. "There are more Omni Sapiens on Earth. That's why I was never around. I was searching for them," Derek said. Cal got up and said, "I'll find them for you," and walked out into the hall knowing his father was going to die. Kyle told his sister that he was going to find his brother and stop Bardock. He was surprised when they trusted him to leave on his journey because he was 14 years old. China walked up to him and said, "I'm going too. He's my stepfather. Maybe, I don't know, I could change his mind." After some arguing, they finally agreed to let her go with him. And so Kyle's journey had just begun. I'm not going to say anything about, her mother not having a say in this. Let's see. Okay. Chapter whatever. Avenge and Revenge. I think I was real clever with that title. I'm not gonna lie. I actually like that. Kyle and China walked through the forest for days, tracking Lloyd's scent and tracks. "Do you hear that?" Kyle asked. He heard something in the trees. And then a gorilla grabbed China and carried her away through the trees. "No!" Kyle yelled as he turned into a cheetah and chased after them. "This is exactly why I didn't want her to come with me," he said to himself. He followed China's scent and kept running and running. Meanwhile, Lloyd, as a gorilla, carried China to a ruin in the forest. He chained her up to a wall as Bardock walked up to them. China looked at him and said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Bardock just smiled and said, "This is beyond you. He will pay for what he has done." Lloyd turned human again and asked, "When do we get to kill her?" "Her time has not come yet," Bardock responded. Just then, a rhino ran through the wall. It was Kyle, obviously. Turning normal, he said, "Geez, I heard of strict parents with chaining them up. Calm down, man." Haha. Bardock laughed and said, joking in the face of danger, "I like that." Lloyd jumped in front of his brother's way. "I don't," he said. "Yeah, not one of my best jokes, shit," Kyle said with a smile. As the battle began, Bardock ran into his lab, because there's a lab in the ruins for some reason, and left Kyle and Lloyd to fight. "So you're the one who killed our dad?" Kyle asked. Lloyd laughed and said, "He left me on that planet to rot. And if you knew anything about our race, you'd know that dying is..." Then Kyle punched him, and Lloyd turned into a jaguar and pounced on Kyle. Kyle turned into a panther and clawed at Lloyd, trying to get away from him. A panther and a jaguar are the same animal. It's just a different pigmentation in the fur. Bardock came from his lab and had a strange-looking gun, and he told Lloyd to get off him. He pulled the trigger, and Lloyd and Kyle moved out of the way. The blast had made a crater in the ground and a trail of fire. "Give me a warning next time. We're supposed to be trying to kill him, not me," Lloyd said. Kyle ran over to China and broke the chain, setting her free. "Run, and get as far away from here as you can," Kyle said to China. She nodded and ran as far as she could. Kyle ran towards Bardock and clawed the gun out of his hands, breaking it. "No, you fool! Do you have any idea what you just did?" Bardock yelled. Save the day. That's I got that straight out of Ben 10. What episode was that? What episode was that? Oh, I forget the episode title. Was it was No, it's not Lucky Girl. It's I forget the title of the episode, but it's Hex and Charmcaster are in there trying to get the charms of Bazelle, and then at the end, Wildvine destroys the charms, and then Hex is all like, "Do you know what you've just done?" or whatever, and then Wildvine is like, "Save the day." So I just plucked that right out of that episode. Then Lloyd, as a gorilla, slammed Kyle hard on the ground. Bardock took out a needle and took Kyle's blood. Bardock looked at the gun and said, "It's overloading and it's about to explode." Lloyd turned into a falcon and flew off, while Bardock looked at Kyle getting up slowly and looked back at the gun. "Don't worry, you won't die, at least not today. We shall continue our battle in another time." Then the gun-like blaster exploded. China, running up a hill, seen the giant explosion and started to cry. All Kyle could see was darkness, and then he saw the number 9. It went down to 8. Then his eyes opened. As he inhaled. That was like his lives. The 9, because he started with 9 lives, and every time he died, he'd see a number in his head, and the number would drop. So that's what that was. He was in the middle of a giant crater surrounded by fire, smoke, and debris. He got up and walked up a hill and seen China crying. He looked up, seen him, and ran over to give him a hug. "What happened?" she asked. "Lloyd got away, and I think Bardock's dead. He talked like he knew me, like he knew what was going to happen." plucked that out of a Ben 10 episode too. The next day, Kyle was outside his house, ready to leave. You sure you want to do this? Kyle's sister Asia said. Yeah. I don't want anyone else to get hurt. I have to find the other Omni Sapiens. Me, a 14-year-old, exploring the world by myself. He walked to his friend Jerome's house and told him he was moving. He didn't want his friend getting worried or anything. Then he went to China's house. He climbed the side of her house up to her window. He knocked on the window and she opened it for him. And he told her what he was doing. I'm gonna miss you, Kyle said. I'm gonna miss you too, China said. She kissed him. I'll be back, I promise, he said, and he was on his way to find the rest of his species. Epilogue. 1 year later, Kyle was sitting in a tree when a man walked up to the tree and said, Kyle Mitchell, we've been keeping an eye on you for a while. Kyle jumped out of the tree and asked, who are you? And who are we? The man said, my name is Joe Hale, and those animals that have been helping people on news. That's you. Kyle's eyes widened. Don't bother asking how I know. That will be answered if you join me, and others like you to help the world, to become a guardian. Kyle looked at the man and said, okay, you got my attention. The end. So that was that. So, I want to say half of this stuff made it into like the actual good stories that I wrote, and the other half I just forgot about. Let's see. I got a whole bunch of these, like a whole bunch of like early stories that I wrote in my early teens that are just not good and rushed. I have a draft. I have an early concept story for Cesar C10 and the hero story on my YouTube. I got a lot of character like concepts, like summaries of who they are and their powers and stuff like that. Things that I didn't actually no. This character, I'm looking at one named Blaze. That's not their name anymore cuz that's just not it's a bad name. But they made it into the actual good stories. When I learned how to properly write. I'm just scrolling down my Google Drive. I'm looking at like there's different characters and stuff, some school stuff. I could look if you want. Y'all want. I could like look at my old like schoolwork. Some Dragon Ball images, some Omnitrix pictures, more character stuff, more bad, stories. A story that I was excuse me. There's a story that I got the hiccups. A story that I started, and I was really good, and I even posted it. There's a story on here that I started, and I really liked it, and I was really proud of it, but nobody read it on Wattpad, so I just stopped writing it. Here's a poem. I got a bunch of I'm a really big fan of The Lion King, so I got like a bunch of like character logs of like this world that I created, using the Lion King world as like a base, like a concept. I got a lot of like lion characters. Some Photoshop stuff, art portfolio, something called Random World. I don't know what that is. Recluse is my a story that I'm really proud of. Uh, Recluse is I all those stories are of Recluse. You can find those on like the web slinger Amino. That community is dead now. Like nobody really posts on there, but you can find all those like Recluse stories on there. It's basically my version of Spider-Man, and I really like took the time to think um where that character is going, and like he's not just a carbon copy of like Spider-Man. I gave him his own powers and like his own unique backstory. It has something to do with like an ancient god and aliens and stuff like that. Here's another early animal story. I have a speedster character. Let's see, another Spider-Man-esque character that's also within that superhero world that me and my friend created. A lot of more concept stuff. Some dumb rap that I created in high school. Another dumb rap that I created in high school. A third dumb rap that I created in high school. A lot of untitled documents. I don't know what those are. A movie pitch that I created back in, what does that say? November 20th, 2016. So yeah, this is like a time capsule of all my work up to today. And just I just wanted to share it with you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. uh so again, like I said, I want to try to continue. I'm gonna be really busy lately. I might even skip or forget like a few videos just because I want to start working on this Patreon stuff, and get as much um work ahead as much as I can, and have a lot of videos in advance and ready to go for you guys, because I got a lot. I worked out a schedule. That's fine, and I know what videos I want to make. I know what I want to do to entertain you guys, and also like you guys can suggest me stuff if you want. That'd be really helpful and appreciative. I can't say that word, but anyway, um, thank you for listening to whatever the heck this was. Uh, I don't know how to end this, so I'll just say I'll see you when I see you. Again, thank you for your support on this Patreon. It means a lot to me, and I really hope that one day, sometime soon, I can do this, full time, because that's really what I ever wanted to do. I want to make, entertainment. I want to create stories. Not dumb stories, like the one that I just read, but I want to create, entertaining stories that help people, inspire people and help them escape into a world of wonders and stuff like that. So again, thank you for your support, thank you for listening, and I'll see you when I see you.